Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome on the call tonight. We are streaming live on Facebook. Fantastic to be here. So, welcome everybody that's on the call. We're really looking forward to an exciting night here at Crypto Live, where we intend to educate, we intend to inspire, and we also intend to motivate tonight. So, really excited to have a special guest tonight. I'm excited about what we're about to witness here. And tonight, if any of you are on the call, please feel free to share the link on Facebook. Feel free to expose this to as many people as possible, because it's really important right now. You have that opportunity to do that. You have the opportunity to share this fantastic vision, this fantastic opportunity with the whole world right now. So for those of you that are on the panel, please make sure you mute your mic just now, if you don't mind. And I'm just going to share my screen with you. So first of all, before I do that, I like to really just tell you just a little bit of background about myself before I start. My name's Bearden, and I got involved in this particular business. And I welcome Sharon on the call, welcome Yvonne, Sheg, and all the rest. Welcome our special guest, Ali Amin, on the call. I got involved with this business probably about a year ago, just over a year, I would say, or just coming up for a year. And it's absolutely fantastic what I've experienced so far. But more importantly, just to let you know, my background, I came from a background of financial services. I came from a background of Forex and currency trading. And now none of that matters with this particular opportunity. And tonight I want to present something slightly different. I want to make sure that when you leave tonight, you take away something that you can use. In other words, you educate yourself, whether that's about blockchain technology, whether it's about cryptocurrency. Because if you educate yourself, you can make an informed decision. And that's really important when you consider moving forward, especially with any opportunity whatsoever. So let me just share my screen with you, and I'll start off with education. So Nelson Mandela says that education is the most powerful weapon that you can use to change the world. And how true is that right now? If we educate ourselves about anything, then we can make an informed decision. So it's absolutely critical that we spend time educating ourselves. And what I'm about to describe to you and about to speak about tonight is really all about education. It's all about educating yourself so that you can make an informed decision, because education gives you choice. Now, in order to know that right now, we need to look at what is actually going on in the world right now. And if we look at the US dollar has been in decline since the year 2000. Now, I'm purely sharing facts with you right now. This is factual information. Now, if the US dollar is in decline, what happens to the rest of the currencies? They start to decline. It's as simple as that. And we're seeing a constant decline ever since fiat currency was introduced. We're seeing whole currencies being destroyed by governments simply because they're over borrowing. They're extending their facilities, over borrowing. They can't pay it back. You see countries like Greece going bust. Banks are printing money, which affects inflation, which affects the economy. So in a true sense, we're not actually in control of our finances whatsoever. And people talk about this thing about doing your due diligence and educating yourself about certain things. But we really need to look at what's going on in the world right now, even with the banking industry. Now, this information I'm sharing with you is pure facts. You can count the cost of what it's costing right now in the banking industry. And you've got large banks like RBS. RBS were fined $4 billion for misconduct. You've got Barclays Bank, $5.97 billion. The four banks have set aside something like $50 billion just for fines. Lloyd's TSB, for example, the Lloyd's Group were fined $13.9 billion for PPI so far, and Barclays is set to set aside another $3 billion. So you really need to look at what's going on in the world right now and understand that you're not in control of what's happening. And in fact, behind the scenes, there's so many things happening that you don't even know about. And unless you're in the industry, unless you've got some knowledge and you check it, you do some due diligence through the right sources, then really a lot of the time we don't know what's going on. Now, this is continually happening. Banks get fined constantly, and they just put a provision for that. So we really need to look at what's going on in the world and how that's impacting us today. And that's one of the reasons why the banking industry cannot continue in the same form. It's not going to happen. That's why we have cryptocurrency, we have the blockchain technology, and literally that's why the banks right now are even working on their blockchain technology. Who are the leaders? Who are the main people in the banking industry? Well, you know who the main people that introduced the banks initially, the main family behind the banking industry is the Rothschild family. And if you go and look at what's going on just now, you can go and see what's happening yourself. There's so much information out there that you can check. So this is just one example where one of them has been indicted, for accused of fraud. So, and it's happening constantly. This isn't just a one-off. In addition to that, you can look at the 6 banks that were fined 5.6 billion for rigging the foreign exchange, the foreign currency market. So as I said, I've got a background in investments, I have a background in currency trading. And many people still today say, oh, the market's not rigged. The market is completely manipulated. So if you think that you're the young guy who's going to make a lot of money from Forex or currency trading or cryptocurrency trading, you need to know that there's something going on that you're not probably aware of. You need to know that the industry is actually rigged. And that's why many of these organizations are being fined substantial amounts. Imagine, a bank being able to sustain a fine of 2.32 billion and yet go on to get fined year after year after year after year. It's happening constantly. So it's not anything new. It's not something that's hidden. It's out there. These are fines that the FCA have actually put upon various different banks. And it's happening this year as well. It'll happen every year. It doesn't make any difference. But the question you need to ask yourself is, what can you do about it? And that's why we need to understand that things are changing right now. Things are changing. When we move on to a blockchain, things are going to be different. So you need to understand the history of money, where we came from, the barter system. We moved on to gold was discovered. Then you had gold backing currency. Then you had fiat currency. Became a disaster. Nowadays, it's just pot luck. You don't know what's going to happen. Somebody makes an announcement, the pound jumps up. Somebody else makes an announcement. You have Brexit, the pound declines, the dollar declines. So we need to know, where do we stand and what can we do about it? And that's when we moved on to a card system. We have the digital systems such as PayPal, Apple Pay. And now you've got the next biggest thing that's going to hit the whole world, which is cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. And it's having an understanding of that. So what is cryptocurrency? The simple explanation that I like to give is, you just take any note and you've got a serial number. You take that serial number, you recode it as a long number. That number stored in your phone, your iPad, your computer. You can throw away the note because you no longer need it. You see, even currency today, our money today can be forged. You can have a note with the same serial number on it. But with cryptocurrency and digital currency, you cannot have the same number in the system. It will never happen. And that's why it's much more secure, it's much faster, and it's much cheaper. And that's one of the reasons why we're moving on to a completely different system. So how does the blockchain work? Well, the simple explanation is, if I'm transferring money from A to B, the money is approved by my bank, it moves across to the other person's bank and then into the person's account. What if you had a system that you didn't need the bank? So for example, I want to move money from A to B, and it moves directly from me to that individual, and it's approved on the system because all the servers, all the computers on the system are linked up. So it creates a trust protocol. Somebody approves it and validates it on the system, it moves straight across. So it moves on to the next block, hence called the blockchain, and the money is received a lot quicker. It's a lot cheaper, and it's also much more secure. Let me just play this video there's a short video I'd like you to see here.
Blockchain is peer-to-peer software technology that protects the integrity of a digital piece of information. It was invented to create the alternative currency Bitcoin, but may be used for other cryptocurrencies, online signature services, voting systems, and many other applications. In this video, we explain how it works and what makes it special. Everyone uses paper money. When you get a $10 bill, you trust that it's not fake. If instead someone sent you an email saying, "Here's $10, you probably wouldn't trust it. But when we transfer money, use an ATM, or pay with a deposit card, that's pretty much exactly what we do. We're sending money and a digital message. To make sure no one's cheating or sending money they don't have, these messages go through a few trusted banks that keep a record of everything. They know how much money everyone has and deduct it properly for every transaction. But this becomes expensive when there's a million transactions around the world every minute. The Economist estimates that banks charged us more than $1.7 trillion to process these payments in 2014. That's about 2% of the entire world economy. With blockchain, we can save a lot of this cost because it lets us send money just like sending an email. Instead of sending a lot of payment information through a few servers, blockchain uses thousands of personal computers on the internet. All transactions are copied and cross-checked between every computer in a system-wide accounting book called the ledger, which becomes very safe at scale. Blockchain doesn't just allow us to create safe money online, it lets us protect any piece of digital information. This could be online identity cards, voter ballots, contracts, and many other legal instruments, bringing bureaucracy into the 21st century.
So fantastic. I hope that explains a little bit about the blockchain technology and allows you to have a better understanding. But imagine $1.7 trillion in 2014. This is 2017 now. And you can imagine how much that figure will be now. It's really interesting because you have guys like Bill Gates, you have guys like Richard Branson who use cryptocurrency. Richard Branson recently bought one of his airlines for $600 million, and he saved $15 million in fees by using cryptocurrency. So we need to understand that right now all the banks are spending money developing their blockchain. Why? Because they know it's the future. They know that they have to pay attention to it. Otherwise, they're going to lose market share, because everybody knows nowadays, even though we know that the banks charge, we know that the charges are high, we know that there's certainly, we know consistently we're getting charges every single year, yet we still use the banks. In addition to that, if you've got any savings, where do most people keep them? In the bank. Why? Because they feel that the bank perhaps has been safe for years and years. But again, we've really got to look outside the box. We've really got to have a better understanding of what's going on, especially in society today. And that's why we need to understand that a cashless society has already begun. It's already started. You have countries like Dubai declared cashless as of 2020. You have somewhere like Japan, who's recently declared that cryptocurrency is going to be an acceptable currency for them. In their case, it was Bitcoin, but they've declared that and announced that. You've got countries like Singapore, Netherlands, France, United Kingdom, all advanced in terms of where they're going, in terms of moving to cashless. And this source comes from MasterCard Advisors and the foremost management consultancy company in the world, a company called McKinsey & Company. So it's amazing to understand and know what's happening in the world right now. So how did it all start? Well, it all started with the very first cryptocurrency, which was called Bitcoin. And Bitcoin was developed by somebody that remains anonymous. Even today, we're not sure who it is. He goes by the name of Satoshi Nakamoto, but we don't even know if that's true or not. And even back when it was introduced, people said, you know what, it's never going to work. Who would want a currency that you can't touch, that you can't see? Who's going to use it? And nobody really paid attention. People said it was a scam. People said it was a Ponzi. It attracted a lot of the wrong types of people initially. And then what happened, of course, around about 2013, it started off at 10 cents in 2009. 2013, guess what? Bitcoin peaked for each coin, $1,200. $1,200. Today, it's around about $1,400 as we speak right now, because the Asia market started paying attention. Money moves fast in Asia. They started paying attention. It started rising. People started paying attention. And what creates the demand for anything? Let's talk about gold. Let's talk about even this pen, for example, I've got here. Let's talk about a mobile phone. The demand is only created by, it depends on the number of people. So it's all supply and demand. And this is exactly the same thing. You don't need any bank. It's simply supply and demand. So anybody on this call right now, we can create our own cryptocurrency. But the question you've got to ask is who would want it? And that's where the difference lies right now. So you imagine there's so many different cryptocurrencies on the market as a result of Bitcoin. As a result of that, we actually have over 700 on the market. But I love this story here, because here's a young student who bought $27 worth of Bitcoin in 2009, and in 2013 he sold it and made $886,000. And I want you to just think for a moment and get your head around that. If you knew that was definitely going to happen, would you have put money into Bitcoin? And the answer that most people come up with is yes. So what stops you from actually doing it right now? And the answer comes up as usually cost, because each one's now $1,400. So a lot of people missed out on Bitcoin in the beginning, but you still have an opportunity right now to pay attention to cryptocurrency, because as a result of that, we now have over 700 cryptocurrencies that followed after Bitcoin. You have so many different ones. You have things like Litecoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Monero coin. There's so many different ones out there. So the question is, how do you know which one to pay attention to? If you take one like Ethereum, for example, last year, 2016, Ethereum was trading around about April, it was trading about $10. Today it's trading over $40, nearly $50 for each one. So many of these coins, people are speculating, people are simply buying them. They buy low and they sell high. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can speculate on the coins if you want. Now let's give you this is a live example. This is taken just today, this screenshot. This gives you the biggest gainers over the course of the last 7 days of all the coins on the open market. So I've just taken the top 10, the biggest gainers. So people say, oh, cryptocurrency, can you make money today? Well, of course you can. If you look at the first coin on there, digital coin, over the last 7 days, it's gone up 341%. Secure coin has gone up 299%. And most people have never heard of any of these coins. Mega coin's gone up 140%. So if you look on that chart, you can see, of course, there is an avenue to make a substantial profit on cryptocurrency. But there's two things. One, you need to take into account. First one is risk. And the second one is education, knowledge. How do you know which one to choose? And also affordability. So really three things. One is risk, second, affordability, and the third one is education, educating yourself. So if you were going to trade cryptocurrency, which is very risky by nature, especially if it's on the open market, you need to have an understanding of the market. Otherwise, you're just guessing. That's the first thing. And if you're going to put any money into cryptocurrency, you want to make sure that it's money you can afford. So that's really, really critical, because we're all about education. Remember, education, inspire and motivate. So that's where I want to introduce you to this particular company, which is called Onelife. And to do that, I want to introduce somebody on the call. Her name is Sharon Bosker. She's doing an amazing job right now. She's building her organization and she's helping a lot of people. And she's really fantastic at going through this information and then explaining it in a really, really simple way. And I know right now she's excited about the future and about what's happening. So Sharon, if you're there, if you just want to open up your mic and please come on the call.
Hi there, Bearden. Thank you very much for the introduction. As Bearden said, what I try to do when I'm going through the presentation is keep it as simple as possible. And that's the most important thing, I think, because the great thing about cryptocurrency, whether you've heard about it before or whether this is the first time you've been exposed to it, whether you're male, female, whether you're 18 or 80, whether you're really well educated through university or if you've no education at all, like myself, I wasn't university educated by any means. I just think that this is something that everybody can understand and can easily get involved in and take advantage of. And I always get excited every single time I hear the presentation, the part that Bearden's done. It does get me excited because although I've heard it so many times now, he always makes it slightly different, but there's always new information. And there's just, personally, I think there's a timing element to this. As he's mentioned just earlier, sometimes when you're exposed to an opportunity, in the example there was Bitcoin, would you have said yes? Or would you have not have done it? Most people didn't do it and they're absolutely kicking themselves, but it's not too late. And the information that we're going to go through with you just now is really just to show you that there is a new digital currency that's available to everyone. And I'll make it as simple and as straightforward as I possibly can. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just share my screen with you and I'll talk you through it. So let's go through this. So the company that we're talking about is called Onelife, and we're part of an organisation where the coin that we're talking about is called OneCoin. But first of all, why is this something that you should absolutely be listening to? I'm just having a wee technical issue here because my screen won't move, if you bear with me. That's us. Thank you. So why do you need to pay attention? Well, first of all, before I get started, the information that I'm going to give to you just now, I want you to be aware that it's all completely factual. Everything that you hear, if you want to go away after this call and do your own research, please do, because everything, as I say, is completely factual. I was introduced to this business probably about 9 months ago by a friend who works in one of the large banks over in Edinburgh, and he's involved in the digital banking department. And when I heard this information, it really made me take notice, and I'm going to share exactly with you what I was exposed to myself. So the business that we're talking about, as I said, it's Onelife, and it started in August 2014. It's a very, very new company. It's only been on the go for just over 2 years now. On a weekly basis in sales, we generate over 125 million euros, which is an absolutely phenomenal figure. And where that comes about, it's actually members who are joining our community and they're coming on board and purchasing a package, which they can then get tokens and then they can mine coins, which I'll come on to explain to you. In the very first year, this company, Onelife, actually generated over 1 billion euros in revenue. And I'm going to show you a sort of comparison to let you see what that actually means in the marketplace. But it's a huge achievement and it's actually phenomenal. In actual fact, what happened after the first a year and a half, we'd actually generated 2.2 billion, and that is unheard of in history. So you maybe think, well, why have I not heard of this organisation before? And that's what I'm going to come on and explain to you. But in the last year alone, in the last 12 months, Onelife has generated over 5.9 billion in revenue. So that must make you sit up and think, well, there's something happening here. This is a global organisation. Why have you not heard of it? And that's why we're wanting to share this with as many people as possible. But the thing to really mention here is that we are only getting started. And as I mentioned earlier, timing with a lot of things is key, and for yourself to potentially consider getting involved in digital currency, now is the absolute time to do it, because you will find that very soon the banks are going to be starting to talk to you about digital currency and blockchain, which is the technology behind it. If the bank mentions it to you, you've missed the boat, it's too late. Now is the time to absolutely take notice, do your due diligence, and hopefully tonight we can help you to make an informed decision whether it's something that you do want to get involved with. So, to give you just a comparison, when I'm saying to you that in the last 12 months we've brought in such an amount of revenue, take a wee look at the left-hand side here. So these are companies that I'm sure that you're familiar with. These are direct selling companies. So for example, Amway, they took 21 years to achieve $1 billion in revenue. Avon, which is a household name, it's a global company. It took them, believe it or not, 86 years to achieve 1 billion. I won't go through them all, but I'm sure a lot of people on this call have probably been approached by someone, or they know someone that does Herbalife. There you go, it took them 24 years to achieve $1 billion, and then you can see the other ones there. But if you look over on the right-hand side, this is a really interesting part, because probably every single person that's watching this just now is aware of these organisations. So if you look at Apple, it took 6 years for Apple to achieve that. If you look at Facebook, now obviously everybody knows the story, I'm sure, about Mark Zuckerberg, who invited some friends to his dorm. He was wanting to speak to them about this new opportunity, this new product that he was going to be bringing to the marketplace called Facebook, and only a few took advantage of it. And aren't they lucky that they did, and aren't they happy that they did? If you were offered that opportunity, you may not have done it, but it took 6 years for Facebook, which is a global household name, to achieve 1 billion. Onelife, as I said, only took 1 year. Amazon, there you can see 4 years, eBay 7 years, and Google 5. So that should hopefully give you a real good feel for the scale of this organisation. At the moment, globally, there are over 3 million people who have joined the Onelife community, who have come on board, purchased a package, and who are now in the process of either mining their coins or already have their coins. One thing that I would like to say though is, and this is one thing that you should really take notice of, next year, Q2 of 2018, so it's exactly a year away, our plan is to go onto the stock exchange. We're going to be going public. Onelife at the moment is IPO, so that means it's an initial public offering, and what everybody at the moment who's a member of Onelife, and potentially yourself watching if you're not a member yet, is you have the opportunity to get future certificates. So that means that you can get on board just now to maximise financially for when the company goes public next year. And again, looking back at Facebook, if we'd all had the opportunity to do it back then, I'm sure we'd have said yes. And I think hindsight is a fantastic thing. When you look back on opportunities potential that you've missed out on, as Bearden said, this is a chance now for everybody to get involved. So please do look at this very, very seriously. Do your own due diligence, but I would recommend that it's something that you do consider getting involved in. And the reason that we're on this call tonight, it's all come about by a very, very inspirational woman, and her name is Dr. Ruja Ignatova. And I think it's important that if you're ever considering getting involved in a company, that you know who the founder is. So basically, Dr. Ruja Ignatova, she is a visionary. She is very, very passionate. She's got such a strong belief in this organisation. But the one thing to bear in mind is that, unlike myself, she has come from, she's very, very educated, and she is an academic, and her vision for what we're about to achieve is phenomenal. As you can see over on the left-hand side here, it says she's got a degree in law from Oxford University, and she's got a master's degree in economics from the University of Constance. She has actually written a number of books which have been translated into English, German and Chinese. She was a former associate partner with a company called McKinsey & Company in 2014, and Bearden actually mentioned that organisation on the previous slide. And basically she was the youngest partner ever to be involved in that organisation. They are the foremost global management consultancy firm. They advise governments and they advise really large organisations. So it's huge, huge credibility for the fact that Dr. Ruja has been a part of McKinsey & Company in the past. As you can see the picture there also, she was on the front cover of Financial IT, and that's a very well-renowned, very well-recognised magazine that is well known within the IT and the banking and the financial industries. So she had a fantastic feature inside, a really good write-up, and you can check that out yourself. But she is leading the way. She was also the keynote speaker at the European EU Summit, and she was in front of world leaders discussing cryptocurrency and talking about how, in her opinion, this is going to be a real solution to a lot of countries who, as I'm sure we've all heard in the news, have had financial difficulties over the years. And it's something that you might be watching this thinking, well, it's a long way down the line. It's not, it has actually arrived. So that's why it's really important to take action on this just now. So what is Onelife and what are the products and services that we have? Well, there's a number of different products that we have. Over in the top left hand side you can see there's the mobile application builder. Basically what that is if you are a business and you're looking to promote your services and products by using an app, if you were to get a web developer, for example, to do an app for you, I've had done a wee bit of research and I've looked at it, it can cost you anything between £4,000 up to about £6,000 and upwards, depending on how in depth you want the service to be. The mobile application builder that we have is something in the region of €1,200, and it's definitely, if you have got a business, I would recommend that it's something that you do consider. On the right hand side that you see we have CoinCloud. CoinCloud is basically very much like iCloud. It's a business based product, and there was actually a reward for people to attempt to actually break into that, try and get into the server, and it was impossible. So it's a very, very safe service. Down in the bottom hand side you can see we've got the Onelife tablet, and over on the right you can see DealShaker. I'm going to come on to talk about DealShaker, but we are revolutionary in so much as what we're doing just now is we're leading the way. We are the first organisation globally to bring about a product. It's actually a platform whereby you can actually right now spend your cryptocurrency, you can spend your OneCoins, but I'll come on to talk about that later. The one thing though that is the main package that we have, it's called the One Academy, and that's the educational package whereby you come on board, choose the package to suit yourself, you get tokens, and then you mine your coins. So let's take a wee look at the OneCoin first of all, because it's really important if you want to make an informed decision as to whether this is something that you'd like to be involved in. This will give you a really good illustration of how over the last year or so, just over the last 2 years, sorry, it has increased 13 times. So if you can see down here in January 15, if this is all in euros here, it was 50 cents, and then gradually it's climbed and climbed and climbed. Personally, when I got involved round about this time here, it was between €5.65 and €6.95, and currently has now climbed to €9.85. So that is very, very positive to see, because for anybody like yourself who's possibly thinking about getting involved, you want to see that there's a steady climb in the right direction, the growth is there, and really it's just going from strength to strength, and it is going in the right direction. And down at the bottom here you can see the number of members that we have in the community, and as I mentioned to you earlier, it's over 3 million. So that's on a global basis. People are joining every single day, and more people are starting to become aware of digital currency. So I hope that slide gives you a good overview. So there's a market summary here. There's 3 reasons why digital currency and why Dr. Ruja has introduced this product. Number 1 is remittances, and if you or anybody that you know has got friends or family abroad, you'll generally find that a lot of people do transfer money overseas. It's something that happens regularly, and it's a massive, massive industry. the thing is, within the banking industry, for people who maybe want to transfer money overseas, it can take, sometimes I've been told in the number of, it can take days, it can sometimes take up to a month, and the bank charges to do that are very, very, very high. As you can see from the picture here, you may be familiar with some of these organisations. There's Western Union, there's MoneyGram, etc. Again, these companies are used, on a daily basis, but the charges that they have are very, very high. Where Dr. Ruja and where her vision comes in is she wants to make sure that people can now transfer money from one country to another, almost like sending an email. It's instantaneous almost. And the most important thing, there are very, very few charges. So that's one of the key areas and one of the benefits of having digital currency. The second thing is the figure is staggering. There are 2 billion people in the world who are unbanked. They don't have a bank. And again, this is a massive, massive market for Dr. Ruja to tap into. Now, if you think about, for example, in Africa, for example, there are so many people over there now who have got, it used to be the Nokia phones that we used to use, but they now use those and they can actually have access to Wi-Fi, etc. It's digital and they are now using digital currency. There was something in the news quite recently, actually. It was an interesting article. You may have seen it yourself and you can check it online. But there's a very, very small village over in India, and they are now completely digital. Everything that they're trading, when they go to market, anything at all that they're buying, it's all done on their phone and they're using digital currency. So that is huge, and that's just going to grow and grow. And the third point here is preservation of wealth. And I think, as we all know, in the slide that Bearden showed us earlier, in terms of the bank, we don't know if our money's safe in the bank anymore. And I think more people than ever are feeling a bit unsure about whether they have got their money in the right place. Also, there was recently in the news, I'm sure everybody knows about Greece and knows about Cyprus. We don't know how secure our money is. Countries don't know how secure their money is. Digital currency is very secure, and this is the way that we're going to all be trading moving forward. So I hope that gives you a brief overview. So what I'd like to do just very, very briefly is talk to you about the One Academy, because our product is all about education. And basically you come on board and you choose which package that you want, get your tokens, and then you mine them for your coins. Now that, you maybe, I'm possibly talking in jargon that you're thinking, what exactly does that mean? As I said earlier, this is not something that, I'm not from a financial background whatsoever. This is something that you can learn very, very simply and straightforward. And we're talking about mining coins, etc. It literally just means pressing a button on your computer. So it's very, very straightforward. So this slide, I'm just going to go over very, very briefly. This will show you the packages that we have. So with, for example, I'll talk to you here about in the yellow, I don't know if you can see it very well, it's a bit blurred, but that is a package that you can come on with, and there's something here to suit everyone's budget. It's just whatever you're comfortable with yourself. So potentially, if you were looking at an outlay of, let's say, €550, what that would give you is 5,000 tokens. Now, I'm going to explain very, very briefly here what a split is. You'll see that beside the different packages there, it mentions 1 split, 2 splits, 3 splits, etc. So what happens is when you come on board and get your package, you'll, let's say with the yellow package here, you'll spend your €550, you'll get your 5,000 tokens. When a split takes place, that happens every 60 to 70 days, and it literally means the number of tokens that you have will double, okay? So in this case, once your tokens have doubled, there's also something that I don't want to go into in great depth just now, but it's called the mining difficulty. When you divide your number of total tokens by the mining difficulty, and that just means the mathematical equation that it takes with the algorithm to come up with the number that Bearden showed you. If you were going to have the number on your paper money, it's just the digital code. So with regards to the package that I've just mentioned there, that would give you a return. At the moment, the euro, the coin that we have, is worth €9.85. So you would actually end up there with 202 coins with a current value of €9.85. Now, as you could see earlier with the slide that I showed you, the graph is going up and up and up the way. So we don't know exactly, we can't predict. These are all predictions for the future, how much it's going to go up to, but we're confident that the growth will be very, very steady. In red, you can see that there's a pro trader. With that one, you would be your outlay would be €1,100. You'd get 10,000 tokens in a split. Once that's divided by the mining difficulty, that would give you a total of 404 one coins at the current value of €9.85. And I say 12 months down the line, once we float in the stock exchange, potentially what that could be we don't know exactly, but we're confident, as I say, that it will go in the right direction. One thing that I'd like to share with you is the Tycoon Trader package, which you can see here in black. This is a package that's probably the most popular, to be absolutely honest. The reason for that being, it can potentially be life-changing in terms of the potential return that you could get for that. So for an initial outlay of €5,500, what happens, you would get 60,000 tokens, but as you can see here, you would get 2 splits. Now, you actually would get 3, because with the initial starter package that we recommend everyone gets, your 60,000 tokens would double to that would be 120. 120,000 tokens would double to 2,040, and the 240 would double up again. So in fact, what you'd actually end up with here would be 4,848 coins. And if you calculate that at €9.85, that is a substantial return in the current time. However, in a year's time, again, you can work that out yourselves. So potentially if that was 4,848 coins at the coin value in the future, potentially that could be a nice return. So what I would suggest, though, because this is a lot to take in, I would really highly recommend that the person that's invited you onto this call, speak to them after this, give them a call, drop them a line, and ask them to go over it in more depth, because that's the best way to really understand it. And the most important thing is, what you want to look at is what's your affordability and what is the risk that you're potentially looking to take. And it's important to mention, because if you think about recently Snapchat, when it went on the stock exchange, did you buy shares? Did you get involved with it? Because I certainly didn't, and I wish that I had. But the reason everybody didn't do it was potentially there could have been an element of risk, and with everything that is always the case. Personally, I'm very, very confident in the packages that I've come on board and purchase. So please speak to myself or speak to the person that's invited you onto the call, and they will be more than happy to explain this to you in more depth. Oops, I'll just go back one, sorry. So very, very quickly, 2 slides to go. Deal Shaker, I mentioned that to you earlier, and this is really exciting, particularly if you are a business that has ever advertised your products on eBay, on Amazon or Groupon. This is a platform, it's, as I say, it's the first in the world whereby you can actually spend your OneCoins, you can spend your digital currency. And we've just taken a screenshot of this one here. As you can see, there's someone that's actually selling a penthouse, and they're accepting part euro and part OneCoin. So if you are a business and you're thinking, okay, I would like to be exposed to 3 million people globally who have currently got digital currency, they've got OneCoins and they're wanting to spend it right now, I would absolutely recommend that you get yourself onto the Deal Shaker platform. And again, the person that's invited you onto the call will be really happy to talk you through how to do that. It's a really straightforward process, but it's an absolutely fantastic way for you to expose your service or your product to the mass markets. And bearing in mind, we're over 3 million people globally just now. That is growing and growing and growing. So very, very quickly in summary, how do you get involved? So with the One Academy, what you do is you choose the package that you'd like to come on board with. You will get your package, you will get your tokens, there may be splits involved, and you will then mine your coins, and then after that you've got the choice that you can keep them in the Onelife exchange, you can purchase the certificates that I mentioned to you earlier for the opportunity for shares, or you can possibly spend them on Deal Shaker or advertise your products on Deal Shaker as well. But I would absolutely say this is something that it is revolutionary. Timing is key. Timing is absolutely now. And really the option that you have here is to become a pioneer or become a user. And if I mentioned earlier, Facebook is a great example, and Apple and Bitcoin. But I was actually shared something on my Digital Currency Now page today, and I think this is so 100% on point. Blockbuster laughed at Netflix. They said it would never ever happen, and look at us now. MySpace laughed at Facebook, and look at us now. I mean, MySpace, everybody really was on MySpace, and they thought it was a fantastic platform, and then Facebook just blew it completely out the water. Microsoft said that Apple would never be where it is today, and if you look at all, particularly young kids, they're all wanting their iPhones, their Macs, etc. as well. Apple is, the preferred platform for so many people now. Taxis, if you look at the Uber platform that we have now, the taxis didn't believe that Uber would ever take off. and it did. Western Union that I mentioned earlier didn't believe that Bitcoin would happen, and look where Bitcoin is. And we're now at the point whereby if you missed out on Bitcoin, and obviously you understand the story behind that now, I believe it's something like €1,200 per coin, and it's actually gone up today. People can't afford to get involved in Bitcoin, but what we're actually sharing with you now is the perfect opportunity to get involved and potentially benefit from that financially. So I hope that that has given you a good overview. And with that, I would like to say I'm going to hand back to Bearden, but please do, if you're looking for more information, get back to the person that's spoken to you, because they will be delighted to elaborate on everything in a wee bit more depth for you.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. That was absolutely amazing. Thank you for that. That was a great explanation there that Sharon gave us. Certainly a lot of information to take in, a lot to think about. However, as Sharon says, simply get back to the person that has introduced you to this, and hopefully they'll be able to explain it in more detail to you. So just to recap on a couple of things what Sharon mentioned there, one of the reasons why blockchain is so topical right now is because it's not only going to be used for payments, it's going to be used for things like your identification, it's going to be used for the National Health Service. So governments at the moment are looking at blockchain and how they can use that in the future. So it's really important to understand the technology behind it to see where we're going. And Sharon mentioned a couple of things there about, the banks, and people think their money's safe in the bank. We need to do our research more. And when we're researching things, you certainly want to research things in the right place. So Google is not a reliable source to research things. You see, take for example trading. I trade Forex and currencies. I have never, ever in my life gone on to Google to research a company, a currency. It doesn't happen. You need to have the right resources. So you want to be researching the right place. So I hope that gives a lot of people an idea. I hope it educates you. The idea here is we want to motivate, inspire, and educate. And that's why it's great right now. I'm so privileged, so humble to have our special guest speaker on tonight. And I know that everybody's excited. We're live on Facebook. Please share and like the page, send lots of likes and share this right now, because I'm about to bring on an individual who is really, really successful within this business. And he's going to tell us a little bit about his journey, because everyone assumes, when you start and you get to a certain level, we forget about the individual's journey when they started, because they started just like everyone else. They started from the bottom. And I know my great friend, Mr. Ali Amin, started in December 2015 within this organization. I'm grateful to have him on this call because I know how busy he is. I've been trying to get him on this call for quite a few weeks now. In addition to that, he's helping over 5,000 people within the organization in terms of his knowledge. When you hear his story and his knowledge that he's got right now, when I've heard him explain some things to people, I'm completely blown away. So I really appreciate him coming on this call. I'm excited about the story and his journey that he's going to explain to us, especially how he's managed to achieve what he has within this organization, when he started in the industry, where he sees it going, and why particularly he chose Onelife. So welcome on the call, Mr. Ali Amin. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Bedouin. I really appreciate your invitation to be on this call. Thank you very much. Did you hear me? Yes.
Yes, loud and clear. Welcome.
Thank you. I really actually acknowledge your knowledge, your presentation. You and Sharon, we've done a great job, amazing job. Actually, I'm so fortunate. I learned a lot from you this evening. I want to just go back to history when I came actually to this country back 16 years ago, because that could actually relate to someone either on the webinar call, either someone on social media can listen and benefit and can take advantage, take a lesson, and take control of the financial world. Back 16 years ago, actually, I came to United Kingdom. I left my country when Saddam was in place, in power, in 2001. I left the country. I came to this country without having money and without even speaking a single word of English. And I was actually having very difficult life and trying to get a job, asking people in the street, in the mosque, and places, say just job. People tell me just learn English. You can't get a job without speaking English. So actually, what I did, I still managed to get few jobs here and there, very hard job, very difficult job. And first 10 months in this country, just want to go back to my country. And I was asking my parents, they didn't allow me to go back because they were in debt because they supported me to get here. And thanks God I didn't go back, so I started working. And 10 years later, actually graduating and competing in mathematical science. So thinking that I'm going to go to get a degree, I can get a good job so I can have a better life. I think with everyone going to get a degree and hoping that they're going to get a job on the same degree and they're going to work. Actually, I didn't know that 80% of the people actually getting a job in different field. So what I did actually, by the time I graduated, I was already £35,000 in student loan debt. So I was depressed. I didn't want to go to job and pay this debt back for the rest of my life. So what I did, I have to start a business. And I never applied for a job until today. I never worked for anyone else. And I started a business back in 2011. And my first job was my first traditional business was a high street computer repair shop. And actually was very, very slow. I had that for a few years, but didn't actually work very well. So beside that, I started another business, and where I took my lesson. Actually, I learned a lot and I lost a lot. And for that, actually, I say I will never go back, start up a business by my own, because it's really painful. In a business that you don't have support, that you don't have the right financial in order to take it off. So I realized that every business take about 2 years in order to break even. It's not even just to make money, just to break even. So at that time, I was invited to a network marketing company, and I went to an event in central London, and I was excited due to the support available, because people say, you sign up, we're going to support you, help you until you succeed. If you succeed, we succeed. So actually, I sold out to that concept, people helping people. This is what I liked about. So I signed up, I started, I was so excited so far that I came home on the bus. I was going home, I was calling friends and started talking about it. And I go home, I speak to my best friends. Little did I knew that everyone became my enemy. No one supported me. Everyone tell me, this is not for you, you shy person, you cannot stand in front of a crowd and speak and present. And this business, someone say my sister done it for many years, didn't succeed. My uncle didn't succeed. So many stories, negative stories, and so many opinions. So it made me actually quit. I left that company as well after 2 weeks. So I didn't do anything, and I'm really, really depressed because I didn't know what to do. At that time, actually, I was find a gentleman who got money to set up a franchise business for me. And when I look at the franchise business, actually, okay, it's good, like something like Subway, McDonald's. They're well established. So if you get the right location, probably you can be successful with franchises. So I tried that for few of them. It cost £150,000, and it was really, really scary. It's not my money. I'm already in that, and using someone else's money, I'm going to a contract for 5 years and start building up someone else's business. Well, actually, I have no choice. I want to do it, but at the end, I actually want to know what's the deal between me and this gentleman. He's going to spend £150,000 for me to start the business. And when I asked him, actually, he said, you work for me. I say, well, why don't I go to McDonald's, work there? Why shall I work for you? I didn't want that. I want a business. But he said, work for me. I say, no, it's not going to work. So what I did, I had only two options now. Either I had to claim bankruptcy, or either I had to go back to the same company previously introduced 6 months ago. So I had no option. So I go back to the company. I say, okay, show me the way. I'm really now down to work. I don't want to listen to more negative friends' opinion. And I have a right to have my own opinion. I'm going to work this and make it work. So thank God I had the mentor who supported me a lot. His name Michael, lives in Milton Keynes, coming down to London twice or 3 times in a week and sitting down with me 1 hour, 2 hours, introduced me in the concept of network marketing and telling me about Robert Kiyosaki. For first time I hear Robert Kiyosaki. Who is Robert Kiyosaki? He wrote a book about the business of the 21st century. And that book completely talked about network marketing concept. And he talked about Jim Rohn. And I said, who's Jim Rohn? When I researched, Jim Rohn already passed away a few years ago. But why is this guy talking about? I didn't understand. Actually, Jim Rohn is one of the very famous and philosopher and mentor of many millionaires. Actually, I went to that route and learning personal development and growing myself. So 2 years later, I became very successful in that company. I became one of the positions like a director. So I was happy. And suddenly I received a message from a friend of mine, a link from OneCoin, and says, that time even wasn't Onelife, say OneCoin, and it was a video. And the video only 16 minutes long. So I sat down and watched the video. Within my first 5 minutes, actually, I understood this is something valuable. You know, something is like is like commodity, is like assets. You put money in there and grows. And this is what I learned from Robert Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki, actually, I attended his live event, came down to London a few years ago, and this is what he does. He put money into assets. He buy gold, he buy oil, he buy things that makes money. He doesn't keep cash, and he advised people not to keep cash. He advised you not to have saving account, have investment account. Don't put money in your account to save it for rainy days, but put money in investment. Whenever you need it, you can have a hand on it. So because of that, actually, I was sold out. Want to buy some of this, want to have some of this, want to mine some of this OneCoins, and I didn't know how it works. I followed the gentleman for 2 days until I called him. I say, let me get started. He said, let these two guys do presentation, 2 guys with him. I said, no. I don't need presentation. I need to get started because already I know the concept. I want to do it. And so I said, okay. They say, okay. They started. They helped me to get started. But imagine, even I didn't have the money to start with. I want to put some money in. I didn't have the money. I actually borrowed the money using my credit card. And what happened, actually, my first week, I'm in profit. My first week starting, whatever I put more than double amount. So our first week, I was in profit. So what I did, I got excited. I pushed a little bit harder. 3 months later, actually, I realized what I made in my previous company in 3.5 years, which was half of what I made in 3 months in this company. So just imagine what you are making currently in the whole year, whatever your salary is in the whole year, if you make it in a single month, that will tell you something. So for me, it's no brainer. I just sent a resignation letter. I resigned from my position. I left the other company. Now I don't do anything else, just building Onelife. So I just tell you some results I got since then. And now, since December 2015, actually, it's no longer ago, it's about 16 months. And I made a lot of money, yes. I helped my parents, yes. And I've sent my parents to do perform Umrah June last year, which is a bit costly during that month, a bit double amount. And I'll be able to do this because of being fortunate being part of this opportunity. So actually, I got 2 of my dream cars. I got the Mercedes ML class and a Bentley. And actually, I'm saying a Bentley, yes, it is a Bentley. So I don't drive even much, but it's just you've been fortunate to be a part of opportunity that allows you to drive the things, the cars you like, to live the places you want to live. Actually, before we used to live in London in a small 2-bedroom flat, and now we were living in a very big house in Bungalow house in a village in Bedfordshire. I mean, this is another amazing result that's come out because of what we are doing. And it's not only that, actually, it's not only the financial result, but actually the time. Because I, with my wife, homeschooling our kids. We have 3 little daughters, and we teach them at home. Because of this opportunity, now we have the time and the money, so we can sit down at home and teach them every single day. And we take them to experience. We take them to holidays here, this place, that place. There's so much things they need to get exposed to. And we have time to spend with our kids. How many people actually got a lot of money, but they don't have time to spend with their kids? There's people actually seeing their kids growing up, but they only see them growing up when the kids are sleeping, because the time they leave home, they're sleeping. The time they came home, they're sleeping. Now we have been very fortunate. Actually, I want to thank God, because this has all come because it's a blessing from God. Actually, we got all of that because of being at the right place at the right time and grabbing opportunity, and just having all this blessing with us. What actually is now is I'm not only myself a diamond. In my big organization, actually, there are 3 more diamonds. There are 3 more competing this month to become diamond. There are so many other people actually hitting position. The main actually important things in this business is when you help someone else to make money, when you help someone else to achieve what you have achieved. I mean, if I think back, if I was signing that contract for a franchise business, I would have a business. I would have made, maybe even the guy accepted like partnership. I would have made money only for myself. I would have, probably I wouldn't get by off my time. I wouldn't have time, but I would make money only for myself, which is good. But in this business, you not only make it for yourself, you're going to impact on so many other lives. So many other people will change their lives. So many other people will make money the way you make money. Because I only make money if my team makes money. Imagine if my team no one makes money. I will not make money. And the reason I'm actually having a diamond position and making money and living the lifestyle I want, drive what I want to drive, live where I want to live, because I help my team, because my team making money. Imagine if they don't make money, I wouldn't be here. Okay, so that's why I want to thank my team, thank every single person, part of my team actually. They came on board with me, they stayed with me, they believed in me, and we work together. And my goal is also helping 100 people to hit the position of diamond, because I know the diamond position is really a privileged position, really like prestige position. It's a position that people respect it. It's not only the money you get, it's not only the time you get, but there's so much recognition to it that you feel good about yourself. You get belief into yourself, you get confidence, and you can do much more things because you get to that position. I actually really never worked for position. I really never want to work for a position. That I just want to make money. I want to look after my kids, my family. But when things come, when you hit position, that you understand how valuable it is. I mean, people work hard for money, but they die for recognition. So now actually my goal is to not only here in the team, building up the team, but also giving back in charity. I want to create a foundation back home, helping orphanage, so sponsoring orphans and so on and so forth. And I know for a fact there's so many other people in my team doing charity as well. But my goal is very big. I want to establish a big foundation back home. And I want to actually help so many other people, because it's no longer about myself or my family. We are doing on the right path, but we want to help so many other people. Not only those people who can participate in our program, but also the people who, unfortunate in other countries, they cannot even hear about us. So my advice actually for everyone on this call is actually, if I tell you a few things, the first thing, you should love yourself. You should respect yourself, and you should be able to decide for yourself. Because the moment you decide, and your friend, your family, or people on Google says, oh, it's a scam, or don't do it, or something, and you start believing them, that tells me you don't respect yourself. You don't love yourself. You don't have your own opinion. You listen to other people's opinion. If you listen to other people's opinion, who are they? There's no one superior above anyone else. Everyone got equal right. If someone got an opinion just because writing on Google say OneCoin is a scam and I'm going to get off of my financial future just because someone says it's a scam, that means I'm actually idiot. I'm not actually not right person to be in this opportunity. That's why I'm listening to someone who even I don't know who they are. How can I going to believe someone just having an opinion, someone like me? There is no one got a single fact that can say this business no legitimate. There's no one can say, actually the people say things and now they are in big trouble because the company can actually put their finger to their eye, say you can't say anything about us because you already got legal document. A law firm says, is this company legitimate? How come someone can say this is not legitimate? My advice for you, first, you love yourself, you respect yourself, you take your own decision and don't listen to negative and toxic people, because those people who only bring you down, they do not allow you to succeed. So also my second advice is, if you want to invest, the best investment is your own mind. The best investment is your own education. You don't invest of anything until you invest enough in your own education. There's so much program, there's so much training, there's so much. Actually, you can have a mentor. You can hire a mentor to invest. For example, an investor, you can hire an investor to teach you how to invest. You can have a mentor to teach you how to be successful in business. You can have actually re-mentoring people free of charge, but you can actually put some investment into your own mind, because if you don't invest into your own mind, you don't educate yourself, you're going to miss out of every single thing that we do. And this is why I love Onelife, because it's education, because we're providing education. The education actually provided people does not pay attention to. There's so much into it. If you go through this education, this one academy, level 1, 2, 3, you learn so much that you never learn in your own school. You never learn from your own university. You never learn from your parents, from your friends. You never learn anywhere else. This education actually specifically designed for us to learn from it. And this is the best investment you could do ever, because this is not an investment of owning coins. This is an investment getting an education, so we can get educated about what's going to happen in our financial world. Okay, and this is the best investment actually you could ever make. And if buying an education and learn it is not only one academy, it could be any other education that help you progress in life. And the final thing actually I want to say, whatever you do, you need to focus. Okay, whenever you try to take any route, any path in life, there's so many haters coming your way. There's so much distraction coming your way. There's so many people come drag you down. They don't let you succeed. And it needs really courage and focus and like brave. Someone has to be brave in order to remove all the distraction and focus and keep going on. And if you have really focus and if you know where you're going and really focus and continue on that path. Okay, don't let anyone else take you any other business. Don't let anyone else sell you anything else that does not fit you right now. Or you have not finished something, you're going to start another thing. You haven't finished the other one, you start another one. Then you never finish anything. They say a man catch 2 rabbits, catch none. Yeah. If you want to hunt 2 rabbits at the same time, you're not going to catch any of them. So you focus of what you have in your plate. Okay, what you have in front of you, focus on that and determine until you succeed. And once you succeed, then you can have so much more. But until you succeed, you focus what you have. Don't let other people drag you to the left, to right, or to the center, and you don't know what you're doing. You don't know who will follow you, and you don't know actually where you're going. But if you set up your goal, if you set up your target, where you want to go, then all you need to hard work, focus, and stay consistent until you get to your destination. So I don't want to take any more of your time. Thank you very much, Bijan. Thank you very much, everyone on the call, and hope you see you soon again. Thank you.
Wow, amazing, fantastic. Ali, I mean, that was absolutely, talk about inspiration, talk about motivation, talk about education. You've pretty much covered everything. I mean, I'm a bit lost for words right now, because the information you gave, you've educated people about business. You arrived in this country a number of years ago without being able to even speak a word of English. You had to try and get a job. Then people told you to learn English. You've changed your postcode. You've changed your vehicles. You're spending more time with your family. I mean, this is the information you've shared is you've talked about, what people should look at in terms of themselves. They need to love and respect themselves. You need to be able to educate yourself, and you need to be able to focus. So the information we've had here is absolutely mind-blowing. In fact, it's an education in its own right. So, delighted to have you on this call. For me, I mean, I'm sure for many, many people, I've actually been writing notes down here. I've learned so much. I'll be going back over this because you've talked about the businesses you started, how some of them didn't work out and what you had to do. The fact that you started this industry and then you quit, and then you went back, and then you basically, you're an example that everyone can look up to right now. So you even talked about having a mentor. That's absolutely amazing. I hope everybody's been taking notes. The only question I can ask you just to finish this part off would be, tell me this, based on your experience, everything you've achieved so far, at what point, if somebody's looking at this that's brand new or an existing member, at what point should they give up?
Sorry, I didn't catch you.
I said, if somebody's looking at this, it's maybe a brand new member or maybe an existing person, at what point in the journey should they give up?
Should they give up, or?
Yeah, at what point should they give up?
Well, actually, there's no, for me, if someone get to look at this, they should, it's no brainer. I mean, someone not start this business and or give up or not to work on this business, because it is something my mentor says, either you discipline yourself until you get what you want, or either you regret for the rest of your life. If you don't suffer the pain of discipline and continue with what you're doing on this, and you're giving up for whatever reason, and the rest of your life you have to suffer the pain of regret. And the pain of regret could actually be painful, will eat you from in and out. It should not. I don't believe any person of coming up on this opportunity get exposed and giving up, not paying attention, not exactly finding out the right source of information and making a formal decision and giving up on this, because trust me, there's so much other information like that happened in the past. We just can't even talk about it like a history. Now we don't even, people, the earth, they say the earth cut off, you just want to go into it, they don't exist anymore on the planet. When you miss such an opportunity, because this opportunity has changed so many thousands and tens of thousands of people, and people make multi-millions every single month. There's not only single million that help them every single way. It's not a brainer. I mean, you have to take a serious look. You have to get the right information, and you have to make a formal decision. And you should never ever slow down of working hard on this business.
Wow, amazing. So you've heard it straight from the horse's mouth there. You should never, ever give up. What would happen if Ali Amin had given up once he left the first time and didn't come back? And I like even the description that you used there. You don't even need to get an education. You need to get a formal education. That's really interesting. So again, we're all about education. So amazing to have Mr. Ali Amin on the call. I appreciate you coming on and sharing this amazing information. I'm sure people are going to get so much from this. I've got a whole load of notes I've been taking here. So and I'll be watching this again just to recap on everything that's been said, because this is an education in its own right. So thank you very much. Great to have you on the call, and look forward to chatting with you soon.
Likewise. Thank you very much. Looking forward to chat to you soon. Thank you.
Fantastic, guys. So that was absolutely amazing. So we've just to finish off, just a couple of things I want to discuss. So Sharon's done a fantastic job of explaining the opportunity in terms of getting involved with the coin. It's important to understand a couple of things. There is an opportunity on the business side that Ali Amin's spoken about a little bit about that. So if somebody wants to get involved in the business side, then you have the support, you have the mentorship to do that, and you can begin to basically tell the world about this particular business. But again, it's optional. So the understanding here is, just to summarize, is Onelife is the first financial education company that allows you to mine a cryptocurrency OneCoin for future potential profit. Not for future profit, for future potential profit, because cryptocurrency is classed as an asset. Secondly, Ali Amin went into, and Shannon as well, if you're going to do your research in the right places. But let's just look at the results that are happening right now. These are some record-breaking results. This is a chart that I'm going to finish on. Have an understanding. If you need more information, get back to the person that introduced you. There is a business side to this. We're not going to go into that today. I just want to leave you with the fact that if you're interested in the business, the person you get back to can explain that to you. But let me just give you an example of some of the people that are involved in this business right now. This is an independent website, completely independent, and you can check this information. It's called MLM Business for Home. And if you look at what's happening on this chart, it has the top 200 earners in the whole world of network marketing. And when you look at the chart, you'll see that in the top 10, 70% of the top 10 come from a company called Onelife, OneCoin. What does that mean? That means that there's a trend going on. Now, when you see figures like this, you've got number 4, Dexter and Bud Yeager. For 17 years, they were number 1 on this chart. Nobody could shift them. Amway's been established over 40 years. They were top and number 1, 1.3 million per month. That's the figure. That's the facts. Right now, Juha Paralea is number 1. Steinkeller Brothers, number 2. Igor and Andrea Albert's number 3. And they have been knocked completely off that chart. Not only that, out of the top 10, the 7 of it out of the top 10 are from Onelife. In the future, I reckon this is probably going to be 90%, if not all of the top 10. And when you start looking at this chart, you go and look at the top 50. Quite a lot of them, the majority of them are from Onelife. That shows that many, many people are around the world leaders in this industry are flocking towards this company. That means there's a trend starting. That means it's something that we need to pay attention to. Any company within the first year that does over 1 billion in revenue is something you want to pay attention to, regardless of what the critics say, regardless of what anybody says. Because I'll tell you right now, the true value within this company is all about the members. We have over 3 million members. You compare that to Bitcoin with 300,000 users. So it's unbelievable in terms of where we're going, in terms of the vision to have 10 million members, 1 million merchants on the platform within the next 2 years. That was set in June 2016. So it's important to understand where we're going. It's important to understand that we're all about brand and usability and making this a mass market coin. And who knows what's going to happen in the future. Just like Sharon said, when Facebook started, when would you rather get involved in Facebook and in Apple? Would you rather be a pioneer in the beginning, or would you rather get involved now? Would you rather buy shares in Snapchat now? Would you rather have bought them 6 months ago? So again, anybody that's a member right now has the ability to be a first adopter, to get involved at the early stages, and the early stages are where you want to be. So, with that, I want to thank every single person for attending. Please, the replay will be up on Facebook. Please feel free to share that. Feel free to like the page. Feel free to expose as many people as possible. I want to thank all the panel that are on. Sharon, for a fantastic job that you did. I want to thank Ali Amin for coming on. Mind-blowing, amazing. The information that was shared there, I'm going to be going over that. It was absolutely fantastic. I've learned so much from the information that Ali Amin shared. I'm so grateful to have him, so grateful that he could come on this call. And I hope every single person in here has managed to take something away. And I hope we managed to really fulfill the intention of educating you tonight, educating you so that you can pay attention to something. So from me, that's all. If the panelists would like to, feel free to just unmute yourself and just let's all just give a warm welcome and say good night to everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you very much for joining.
Good night, everyone. Take care. Bye.
Fantastic. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks, Ali.
Good night, everyone.